Minigames of all sorts have fallen on hard times recently. Gone are the days when you could get away with putting an in-depth hacking minigame into the middle of combat like Bioshock did, and it's much more likely games will go the XCOM 2 route and just have you press a button, hoping random chance works out in your favour. Despite the trend, some recent games have still gone out of their way to include some damn good minigames, and I'm here to appreciate that, because really, who else will? Superhot is, as a game, an odd concept, and that extends to every part of its ideas. The main campaign is just a tiny part of the playtime most people have with it, with most of its content being challenge modes and other stuff hidden behind the DOS computer interface. The menus are almost a minigame in themselves, being full of in-jokes, references to the meta-narrative, and complicated codes. The undoubtable highlight is an addictively simple ASCII art game called Tree Dude. It's a simple, endless type game where the stylised UI and constantly tension building music make it far more enjoyable than it looks at first glance. Once I realised that the game wasn't showing me climbing a tree like Wendy in Gravity Falls, but actually chopping it down one section at a time, it all becomes much clearer. You use the left and right buttons on the D-pad to change what side of the trunk Tree Dude swings his axe from, and try to stop him getting crushed by the overhanging branches, all while the countdown ticks down ever faster. It's the most innovative swinger I've played in years. A AAA game that also showed love to minigames this year is Fallout 4, which used the DOS-style Pip-Boy to even better effect with its atomic-era parodies of the very first video games. You can pause time in the middle of a firefight and, after managing to find them in between all your other junk, jam in a cassette based on Pitfall, Missile Defense and the original Donkey Kong. Just think, in a world where the bombs never dropped, this Jumpman could have become Mario. The Pitfall game is particularly detailed with loads of enemies like exploding radioactive skulls, stingwings and, for some reason, just normal crabs. You have to collect 5 bobbleheads across different screens, and when you inevitably fail you get a cool little game over screen. The difficulty is one thing that Bethesda made sure to take from the games that inspired them. Vault Boy moves slower than fully laden Brahmin, which makes dodging hazards a matter of precision, and even the missile defense tape ramps up the challenge quickly. The Pip-Boy phone app even updates with the games you find in the Commonwealth so you can play them on the go, although the virtual joystick controls do make it a more frustrating affair. Red Menace in particular isn't exactly well suited to a touchscreen. That said, it's great to even be able to play them offline, and if you own the Collector's Edition Pip-Boy you can get the full experience. Maybe. If you own one of the minority of phones that it can actually be used with. Even without your own frustrating piece of plastic, there are 5 cartridges hidden in Fallout 4. I won't spoil the others for you, and each is a fun break from wandering around Boston. It's just a shame that we'll never see the cut game Jangle's Big Date, which was meant to have featured everybody's favourite moon monkey. With the release of Twilight Princess HD, we also got the return of what is probably the best minigame from any Zelda game. Is it cheating to put a re-release in this video? Probably, but it's my favourite Zelda, so it goes in. Henna's fishing hole is like an oasis of calm in the moody dark world of Twilight Hyrule, a place where you can ignore the impending apocalypse and just catch fish. Unlike everywhere else in the game where you fish from land, you can take out a canoe and go lure fishing on the waters. Henna, the owner, can come with you, and she tells you helpful stuff like which lures are best for different fish. If you get tired of the relaxing fishing, there's also her own invention, Roll Goal, which is a table tilting game so completely teeth grindingly annoying it's not worth talking about. But still, a minigame within a minigame always scores points from me. The joy of Twilight Princess's fishing comes from being able to see the fish in the water. Unlike almost all fishing games where the challenge is mashing quickly to reel in your catch, here the challenge is to wiggle the lure in a lifelike way as you see the fish inch closer until it finally bites. Then the biggest fish you catch gets put into the display tank in Henna's cabin, next to a cool parrot. The whole thing is just peacefully quaint, and of course there's much more to catch than just fish. Another recent game with an interesting fishing system is Stardew Valley, a country farming game improving on the Harvest Moon franchise. After hooking a fish, you have to try and balance the green bar behind the erratically moving beast to reel it in. Some people hate the difficulty, but it's a welcome change from the games that inspired it, where you just had to press a button when the prompt appeared. However, there is another Stardust Valley minigame which is even better. In the Star Drop Saloon are 2 arcade cabinets. Next to one which has a skull-shaped keyhole in it, which is amazing and I can't wait to find out whatever mystery's going on there, is the one that lets you play Journey of the Prairie King. This Binding of Isaac-inspired shooter has obviously had just as much effort put into it as the developer put into the rest of the game, although unfortunately gamepad controls just stopped working in it. You last out waves of enemies coming from every direction until the timer counts down and one side of the screen opens at random. While killing enemies nets you points and items. Some items seem completely overpowered but soon wear off, leaving you to go from overrun to dominating and back again in a matter of seconds. And pickups include stuff like guns, bombs and a mystery box that teleports you like a magic trick, leaving enemies amazed. I've put in quite a while as the Prairie King, but it feels like there's so much more to do, especially with most of your time spent exploring the mines and growing crops each day. This might not be the year that minigames come back in force, but there's been a few good ones already and I have faith for the future. Hopefully the big game companies will start letting their developers work on a few games like these instead of having them program more tech demo graphic systems that will be cut from the final game. Ubisoft.